And we're joined by the middle duo for Southern Exposure, Uchenna Ofoha, Tim Lurich. Gentlemen, that's been a tough weekend, dropping in 3 straight sets there to the Colorado Kraken. I'm curious to get you guys' take as two guys that have been doing quite a bit of traveling recently. Uchenna, have you even been able to train with the team recently? What's your journey been like prior to this event?
Yeah. First, I want to start off by saying shout out to all the mothers out there on Happy Mother's Day. On behalf of all of us from the NBA, we really appreciate you. So none of us would be here without you. Recently there's been a lot of traveling. I came from France. So I was only in my city of Toronto for like 5 days and then flew over here. So I didn't really get an opportunity to see the boys, interact with the boys, and most importantly, practice with the boys. So this was literally, the first game was the first practice. So it was interesting, but I think we did all right. Considering the circumstances. Yeah.
And I'm curious on a quick follow-up to that before we go to you, Tim. What is the difference or the similarities, I guess, in that sense of, you know, being the Canadian, you're transplanting down to play in the NBA, comparatively when you're in a country like France, for example? What is that transition period like as a middle blocker? Your entire game is building that connection.
The speed and the height. There's athletic boys out there, a lot of athletic boys out there overseas, and the speed. So when you bring that together, it makes it a little more complicated. In terms of the game, the IQ is a little bit different, but similar. And then obviously overseas we train literally every day, 6 days a week, and we play on the weekends. So you can really see that when it's trying to translate to the chemistry. You can really see that on the floor. So like I said, it's tough when you don't get any practice in with the boys and then you come to show up. But I think the boys did amazing. Shout out to my team. They did amazing. So we'll just get better, to be honest. Yeah.
And Tim, you just did a little cross-country move on your return from Germany where you were playing this offseason. Basically parked the U-Haul and kind of showed up here. What's that been like for you?
It's a great experience. First off, road trip across country was really fun. Probably not the best or most ideal for playing volleyball the next weekend, you know, sitting in the car for 30 some hours, but hey, I loved every minute of it. It was a great experience. So flew back last week from Germany, drove to Minneapolis where I stayed for 2 days and then drove out here. So again, same thing. It's nice to have a little bit more chemistry with the team, get a little bit more practice, especially with setters, that kind of thing. But, you know, I think we did what we did. Yeah. We did our best for now, and I hope we can keep improving on that. So
definitely.
And I'm curious, one of the things we've always talked about that is just kind of the cornerstones of the Southern Exposure identity, aside from looking good at all times, the middle prowess. I mean, you guys have so many stacked middles, but I think on the flip side, what has always been so important in getting that going is having D'Agostino and Johnny Gomez back there. What was the conversation like, you know, having Lev Gershfeld stepping in or Tony Glessner, you know, the coach stepping in on, was it yesterday? What was that conversation? What's the dynamic like? And, you know, what are the thoughts on, you know, hopefully Johnny's return next event?
Well, we got a deep roster when it comes to outsides, and I think we trust all of them with their serve receive and their defense. I think sometimes we might gray that area between the libero and the outside position, so we just got to clear that up on court. So we're saying, this is the lib, you're the lib for the game, you're taking the ball, that kind of thing. But I think all of them are really good at what they do, and they can easily step into that position. Like you said, it is really nice to have those leaders in that position like Kyle or Johnny, and they just bring a little bit more fiery energy when it comes to being the libero and like wanting to show that this is the court, this is where they're gonna, like nothing's hitting the floor kind of thing. And so I think it changes our team dynamic maybe a little bit, but I think we trust them all. You know?
Yeah, and the key, he just said it, we trust everybody. So we trust anybody to play in any position. And at the end of the day, win or lose, we're going to ride with our team. So whether it be Tony, whether it be Johnny, whether it be Kyle, we trust everybody. So
I love it. And now I'm curious, 1-3, season is far from over. There's still plenty of ways to get into playoffs. No future set in stone by any means. Looking forward, I'm curious, what are both your guys' thoughts, expectations, how you guys want to see exposure continue to progress for the next 3 events?
Yeah, well, personally, I want to see us get a little more energy going.
Yep.
Get a little bit more scrappy. I think last year we were a little bit more scrappier. Guys didn't know about us and about our identity or whatever the case may be, and I think that was kind of a cornerstone for Southern exposure. Digging balls that people don't think we're going to dig, or never giving up, or keeping that energy even though we're down 2 or 3 points. I think we just kind of got to get back to that, and we'll be fine.
And the fight for every point mentality, I think we were lacking a little bit this weekend, but that could all be taken down to just like we, again, haven't necessarily had the reps with everybody on the team. At some point, we got to stop using that. I mean, as a team, we do need to find a way to come together on the court and just fight for every point, and I think that's really all it comes down to.
100%.
Well, certainly a message of optimism. So for any Southern Exposure fans out there, don't hang your heads. These guys certainly aren't. That's Tim Lurich, Uchenna Ofoha. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.